Well, good afternoon. Welcome. So excited to have some good news in the tech space. If you've done virtual live events for a while, you know that not every day is full of good tech news. And so today is really exciting. Blackmagic Design announcing a number of new products, new features, but I know why you're here. That's the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme. Let's talk about it. First of all, comment on screen. Let me know where you're watching from and how you plan to use some of these brand new features. I'm going to go through just some of my thoughts as to how this can be used for virtual live events. Whew. I don't know about you, but I feel like I jumped out of an airplane. I was not planning to do something live, but man, the questions started to come in. My phone started to go crazy, and I thought, hey, why not talk about it? After all, we all have questions. We're all learning. We're all still figuring out how to do this the best way possible. And so I'm going to share a few thoughts, but honestly, I have a lot of questions yet myself that I'm asking. Maybe you have the answers. Man, maybe you have some great ideas that popped up into your head of how you're going to use this for your next virtual live event. If so, I want to hear it. So drop those here in the comments and look forward to hearing from you this afternoon. Yes, extreme. It's extreme. Things are getting more extreme. Extreme and Extreme Pro ISO. That's what we're talking about. So let's take a look here. Obviously, this is the device that Blackmagic just unveiled. And a lot more buttons. So this is compared to the ATEM Mini Pro, of course, on the desk. It's either a Pro or it looks like it says Pro ISO if you look real careful on the image. Much bigger unit, but that's okay. I will give up the desk space. I'm willing to trade desk space for features. So let's talk about features. What does this do? Well, right off the bat, you'll notice looking at this, it doesn't have 4 HDMI inputs. It has 8. And that's just the beginning. Hello from Paris. David, that's cool. I'm in very cold Grand Rapids, Michigan. Paris, that sounds better. So we've got 8 inputs right off the bat. So that's really exciting to hear about that. And yes, it does have aux outputs. That is very cool. So if you don't know that word aux, it stands for auxiliary. And why is this important? Well, it allows you to choose what you're routing out of a device. So a mixer, audio mixer with aux, you can figure out, okay, I want to route this sound or this specific channel, this specific microphone or instrument out. I'm going to choose the auxiliary. I'm going to push it out, and I'm choosing what I'm going to do. That's your auxiliary. Now, this can happen on a video switcher, and that's what this device has. That's why everyone's excited. See, for a long time, us in the virtual live event world, we've wanted what? Comment. Let me know. What do we want? What do we want, everyone, that I've been hearing over and over? You've been emailing me. Jeff, do you know anybody at Blackmagic? Well, I talked to them. I don't know folks on a deep personal level where I can request features and have them, build new units. That would be convenient. But today's exciting. 2 HDMI outputs, friends. 2 HDMI outputs. Let's take a look at it here. I'm going to pull up that image again. And here we go. I put these slides together quick. Hopefully you can see, but you can see on the back of this unit, if you have an ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, or ATEM Mini Pro ISO, you know you have 1 HDMI out. And for example, on my ATEM Mini Pro, which I'm running right now, I've got a little monitor off to my right where I can always see the program out or multi-view or whatever. I can control what I want on there. If I want to see camera 1, I press that button, camera 2, 3, 4, all of that. And you can control that. But the problem is a lot of us that are doing video switching, we want to have that multi-view out, right? You want to be able to look at your screen and see all your options. I want camera 1, camera 2. Okay, my laptop's plugged into 3, right? Because it's way better than Zoom screen sharing. Y'all know this. If you've listened to any of my advice or anybody else out there, it's way better than Zoom screen share if you're using Zoom or something like that. But we said, you know what? I wish I had a second HDMI out. Okay. For me, I love to send a second feed to like a green room or an area where folks are watching, right? I have a control room here in studio where my team will sit and they push different buttons while I'm live. I'd love to be able to run a feed to them in real time. Well, now we can do that. Why? Because here we've got a second HDMI out. We've got auxiliary. This is an exciting day, friends. Very, very exciting. So right away, you can see you've got that second HDMI out, second USB-C. That is really cool. This is looking like, and I didn't hear this said exactly this way in the broadcast, but it's looking like you can now do the webcam out and record to an SD drive at the very same time. Again, maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I missed, that in with my screenshots I was taking here for you. But I believe we can now stream. So you can plug this as a camera. So you can bring this in as a webcam. So let me explain how you would do this. You would take, let's say USB-A that's there. I would route a USB-C cable from that to my computer. Boom. Now I can bring it into Zoom. I can bring it into StreamYard, which is what I'm using today, if you wondered. All of those different things. But USB-C-B that you see on the screen, I could route to a solid state drive or external hard drive. And boom, right there, I'm recording live from my ATEM, much higher quality than the recording that I get from Zoom or from YouTube, right? StreamYard, after this broadcast, will allow me to download this from YouTube. How's that quality going to be? Not 4K. This gives us options, friends. Also at the top of the broadcast, I don't know if you caught this. I know a few people messaged me and they're like, Jeff, I joined late. What did I miss? Well, at the top, they now made a feature. This is with the ATEM Mini Pro and ISO, not the Extreme, the ATEM Mini Pro and ISO. As of today, you can download the new software update, 8.6, and you can now tether your phone to your ATEM Mini. What does that mean? Well, you can stream using your phone signal. Now, where our studio is, my phone signal is not very good down here. So we have our normal cable internet, and then we have an actual hotspot and different internet backups in case something fails. We can switch our source. But this is really cool, friends. Even if you have an ATEM Mini Pro or a Pro ISO, you may not need to upgrade to the Extreme. Not everybody does. Don't go out there and drop money that you don't have. There's additional features. If you need them, great. They're there for you. But if you don't, hey, you have more features as of today, right now, an hour from now. You can now stream from your phone with your ATEM Mini Pro and ATEM Mini Pro ISO. Are you guys excited about that? I'm excited about that. There's times where that'll be handy. That'll be fun in the field. Let me know how you're going to use this. I want to hear from you. All right, let's see here. From Egypt, very cool. Let us know how you do manage graphics, especially the ones with chat messages. So, Ahmed, the way I'm doing this today, this is not an ATEM Mini Pro feature. Great question. I am actually using StreamYard to manage the chat. I'm just doing a simple live stream here. It's easy, it's straightforward, and so that's how I'm managing that today. The graphics coming into input 3 here with the pictures of the ATEM. This is being done in QLab. This is a second computer plugged in. It's plugged into input 3, specifically on my ATEM Mini Pro, and it's being run by QLab. What is QLab? Send me an email. Send me an email. I have a secret about QLab and how it's used for live events. I would love to teach you. Send me an email. Not going to explain that today, not why we're here, but I would be happy to share. Let's just say I used to travel with a tech crew, and because of QLab, it's me, my computer, in this remote. I no longer travel with the tech crew when I go as a speaker. If you hire us to manage your event, yes, I will have a tech crew there. But I travel and tour solo with the computer. My tech crew is QLab. So anyways, let's take a look at some other features. Let me pull up my list here. I'm so excited. I'm going to miss stuff. I don't know about you guys. All right, so ATEM Mini Extreme. Let's take a look here again at the back of the unit. So you've got 8 inputs. You've got 2 USB-Cs, 2 HDMI outs. Onto the top, they've also built some amazing things. But again, I want to talk about program and multi-view out. So we're doing virtual live events. At some point, that's going to move to hybrid and then back to in-person. How is this a good device sort of moving forward in the future for you? Well, here's how I might use it. I mentioned I might do a program out, which would then run to a TV monitor in the green room. What I would more likely do is use an HDMI splitter, send one feed to the green room, and then maybe send one feed onto like a projector on stage, okay? Or maybe have some side screen monitors, especially if you're doing hybrid, right? It might help to have some side screen monitors there and show your program out, because your camera folks are going to be doing some cool stuff, and you don't want it to be a distraction, but if it can be a support, boom, this unit now gives you that capability. So that's pretty exciting. Also, we've got 2 media players built into this. I don't want to go into all the details of this right now. You can look at many options on YouTube to learn about this, or contact me directly. Be happy to explain it to you. But media players allow you to do sort of like the green screen stuff, the keying, right? To have graphics and to have videos, all these different things that you can layer. And this can all be done chroma key and oh my word, there's a million different options you can do. And now you have a second media player. So it's just going to make things so much more versatile, and you can handle so much more. Auxiliary outputs, we talked about that. So here's the other thing. Let's get to the face of the unit, shall we? Here's the multi-view, first of all. Holy cow, the multi-view. Look at that. 16 options here, 16 displays we could bring up here. That is incredible. And you can actually control what this looks like. So if you don't like this, if this is too overwhelming for your screen, that's okay. Take out what you don't need. But you can see here at the bottom where those graphics are, the little baseball in the bottom right-hand corner, that's going to be those media players, okay? So you've got 2 different media player things that you can pull up at any point. There's media player 1, media player 2. So this is pretty cool. Let me take my ticker off here. Cool, cool, cool. So you can see how all this is just amazing. You're able to monitor everything. Boom, right there. There's been a lot of folks that are going to be excited about this update today, but also a little bummed because they've been building solutions around the different form factor of the ATEM Mini, Mini Pro, and Mini Pro ISO. All right. Thanks a million. Hey, you're welcome. I sure hope this helps you. Thanks for tuning in today. Let's see here. Cool. Let's talk about features again, y'all. Yes, Brayson, I think I'm saying your name correctly. Bresson, feel free to correct me. I apologize if I'm butchered your name. Perfect price and everything we wanted. Y'all, $995? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I sat down and made some predictions of what I thought they were going to launch with some other kind of techies and what we thought it would cost. And let's just say Blackmagic made it way cheaper than any of us thought it was going to be. Way cheaper than any of us thought it was going to be. This is really cool. All right. So yes, headphone jack. Everybody's been asking for a headphone jack for this unit, and it finally happened. You look at the back of this thing. There finally is a headphone jack. I would have really liked to have seen 1/4 inch mic inputs, 1/4 inch balanced mic inputs. There's some different reasons that's helpful. I did not think they would add XLR to the unit, even though some folks were asking about that, but really, really, really cool. Glad my church didn't buy the Mini yet. Oh man, I'm glad your church didn't either. I have to talk to my church and see if they're investing in this or if they're just gonna beg and borrow mine. Probably the latter. Cool, I did get your name right. All right, thanks, bro. Thanks for confirming. Awesome. Let's take a look back here at the unit. So you can see lots of different buttons And we're going to go back over here. So lots of different buttons on the face. Now, I realize for a lot of people, this could be really overwhelming, right? Like to have this on your desk, and that's okay. If it is, stay with the smaller unit. If you're running your own tech, or if you have a team member that's new, maybe you don't need all these features. But if you've ever run a switcher or an audio mixer, you realize, yes, there's a lot of buttons, but you usually don't use them all. Usually you don't need everything that's in front of you. So consider them options, right? They're not overwhelmed, they're options. Consider them as options. What else is in this unit? Let me, again, go down the list. Macro buttons. Anybody excited about macro buttons? Holy freaking cow, macro buttons. This is another thing. Now, a lot of people buy this little unit that you'll see here on my desk called a Stream Deck. And they will use something called Companion. There's other ways to do it, but Companion is one of the most popular. And people get a Stream Deck because they want to control their ATEM Mini and do something called macros. Never heard of this before? A macro is basically one button that you can push that does multiple steps. So let's say, for example, I had macro 1 on my ATEM Mini Pro Extreme. I would press macro 1, and when I did that, it would switch to camera 2. It would bring up a graphic, maybe my logo in the upper right-hand corner, and it would tee up or prepare the next graphic that I'm about to switch to. That's one way to use macros. Now, you can build macros for other things, right? Like if I wanted to drive one of my teammates crazy, I could program a macro on my Stream Deck. So when I hit it, it opens up a Gmail and sends a phony message, and then, like spam somebody on Facebook. Like that would really drive one of my team members crazy. And don't you guys build it, because I will find you. But that's what you could use macros for. So why are people excited about this? Well, it allows you at the push of a button to do many things and control many things. This is beautiful. Different macro buttons. And let me look here. I got to actually stick my head like really close to here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 macros. That's what I'm counting. These little buttons here on a screen they're sort of to the right of that 8th input. So you can see that. Sticking my head in the camera. Forgive me. But 8 macro buttons. That's really some good versatility. That gives you a lot that you can do. Pretty exciting. Also, multiview control. We mentioned that. Of course, camera controls. If you have any of the ATEM Mini, Blackmagic Design, like pocket cinema cameras, you can control them from this. Some additional options with this unit. You can also change the dip source. So if you're doing some sort of transition and you want something to, you want to change the look of that as it's transitioning, like I'm doing here. If you want to change the look of that, what that transition looks like, now you can control that. Pretty cool. Did you guys catch when Blackmagic talked about virtual sets? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments if you caught that when they talked about virtual sets. They put Stream Deck out of business. I don't think so, but they did give them a run for their money. Not a run for their money, but there's people that would have purchased an ATEM Mini Extreme and a Stream Deck. They may just be buying this device instead. Yeah, good point. Good point. You don't need a Stream Deck. And now there's times with this new device that I probably won't travel with my Stream Deck. We'll see. I use it for a lot of different things, but pretty interesting, right? Did you guys catch this about virtual sets? Let me explain this to you. Let's say you're working out of a home studio. Just throwing out an example. I have a home studio here. We have different backdrops and backgrounds that we can change. Now let's imagine in the 4 walls of this, what's a almost perfect square room. Let's imagine that each one of my 4 walls was a green screen. Okay, just going to put this out there. And I've got some furniture maybe set in front of these green screens in different spots. So let's say I've got one where I'm delivering my State of the Union on live streaming and virtual events. And so it's a lectern there, and with a little microphone, I go behind that. And the other one is maybe like a chair where I'm sitting down, or a director's chair for like some Q&A. And then I've got 4 different sets with green screens behind. I could set up 4 different cameras, one pointed at each wall. And now what I can do is I can set up virtual backgrounds or virtual backdrops behind on each one of those green screens. Are you catching this? I'm pausing on purpose. Are you catching this? You can build a virtual set, and you can, again, key out that green screen, bring in whatever that set looks like. Now, I will tell you, if you're going to do this, do it well. A lot of virtual backgrounds look really cheesy, and honestly, I think it makes you look more amateur than professional. I would much rather have a physical backdrop like this and seem more authentic on camera than something cheesy and cheap looking that, I designed in Paint or Canva or whatever. Which is how I made these slides, by the way. But you want it to look professional. But what if you could build a virtual set? What if you could build a virtual set and then you use those macro buttons that we were just talking about to switch over to that? Pretty powerful, pretty cool. I'm really excited about this because you have 4 upstream keyers now with this new device. 4 upstream keyers. So we could bring 4 different virtual sets, 4 different backgrounds, and push them to 4 sources. Oh, and good news, you actually have 8 inputs. So if you still need to plug in 4 computers or 2 computers, an iPad, and a selfie stick on a what, you have the freedom to do that. They're there. That's so cool. What else is here? 2 downstream keyers and SuperSource multi-layer processors. SuperSource allows you to layer things on top of each other. So you could get really crazy. If you want to build your own cartoon universe and then you run in and out of it or whatever and layer stuff on screen, yeah, go for it. There's a lot of things. Just look up Blackmagic Design SuperSource, see how people are using it with the bigger switchers that are thousands of dollars, and now understand for $9.95 you can do this too. Pretty exciting. So that was the ATEM Mini Extreme. And then there is the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Okay. Again, here's this multi-view. This is so cool. So now there's the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. This is $1,295, $1,295. 8 inputs program. You can record them all. You can record your program feed out plus each input, each one of the 8 inputs individually. 8 inputs. That's crazy to me. Crazy to me. I thought they were going to stay with 4 inputs. Honestly, for most of what I do here in studio, I'm fine with 4 inputs, but they decided to do 8. I'll take it. You're going to make it, I'll take it. I'll use it. We'll find ways. Again, if this is more than you need, don't get overwhelmed. These are just options, friends. Just options. Just options. So you can use a USB hub with the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme ISO. And this is what I love that they said. This is key to understand this. You might say, hey, I'm doing a 3-day event. I want to record everything, but this is 3 days of video. Like, dude, even if I get like several terabytes, like what if I run out or something, you can take a USB hub, USB-C hub. I can't bring mine into frame, but you get the idea. You get a hub, right? Let's say you get 4 hard drives and you plug in 4. When one fills up, your ATEM Mini Pro Extreme is automatically going to move to the next one. And when that fills up, it's going to move to the next one. It's going to keep going until you truly run out of space. But, plan ahead. Don't be dumb. That's really cool that it automatically switches when one fills up. There was one other thing that Blackmagic Design said, and I was like, he just said that out loud. Like, they just said this out loud. This is awesome. And here was the quote. You ready? The ATEM Mini Pro Extreme ISO. He said, it's more powerful than our Pro SDI switcher. If you don't know an SDI switcher, SDI is just a different form of connection, like getting an input, right? So there's SDI and then there's HDMI, right? Like those are the most common. And so he's like, yeah, this thing we just built is actually more powerful than like the Pro line. And by the way, this is a Pro device. It actually has features that doesn't have. That's so cool. Friends, that is so cool. So anyways, let me know. I'm curious. Put your thoughts on the screen. You've heard me talk. But let me know, how will you use the new ATEM Mini features for virtual live events? I got a crazy idea. I was watching this, and I have a crazy idea for one of our clients. And and I'm going to share it with them first. Sorry. But a crazy idea of an effect they wanted to do that this now became possible because of the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme. We don't even need the ISO for it. So that's a phone call today that they're going to be really excited about. Really excited about. How are you going to use this device? Are you going to get it? Are you going to invest? I'm just curious for folks that are watching. We've got 23 folks on here now. Are you ordering this thing? Are you going to get one of these? Going to roll with what you have? Fine either way. I'm going to be meeting with the team and taking a look at it, and I'm pretty sure we're going to grab one. But really nice. Really nice. There was a gap. One thing we talk about business, we talk about gap analysis. There was this gap between the ATEM Mini Pro ISO and like their Constellation, right? And their pro level switchers, which by the way, these are pro level switchers. They're just a little bit more entry level. There was this gap, and this gap desperately needed to be closed, especially for some of us that are pushing the ATEM Mini devices to the limits. And I feel like today, in a lot of ways, other than 2-3 things I can think of, they closed that gap. They closed that gap. Isn't it cool seeing all the raving fans? My phone's going off over here with people excited. Like they know their target market, right? Like they know their customers, and they developed another product that they knew would get rave reviews. My color is way off on this. I look whiter than Casper, man. What happens when you go live on a whim, right? You don't double check your secondary camera. Lessons to learn. Anyways, guys, I'm really excited about this. Thank you. I see some of you sending in messages other ways. I'm just checking comments now. I'll try to get back to some of y'all later. But man, this is really cool. I hope that you'll put it to use. Man, headphone jack, just even having a second HDMI out. All of these features are really exciting. And I'm really excited to dive in and see how this is going to better help our clients, folks that were managing their events. And I'm also excited to see how I use this in studio. It's a bit more buttons than I want to have on my desk when I'm running it all by myself, I'll be honest. Right? If I'm live and I'm live switching like I'm doing now, like it's a lot. So I'm guessing some days I'll probably stay with that ATEM Mini Pro or Pro ISO. But look at the options here. Look at the features. Pretty cool. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope this helped you. If you're not doing anything this Friday, I'd love for you to come hang out with me. I'm doing an event called Enhancing Virtual Live Events, Audio-Visual Solutions, and Tech Tactics. Going to be talking about web dashboards. Going to be talking about how to build an audio-visual setup that works for your event. Not your friend's event, your event. Helping you really get clear on your virtual event type and then really discover the learning pathway that's going to work best for you. The learning pathway, what you need to learn, which means less hours wasting time on YouTube trying to figure out the equipment you need. Some of you need to know if you need to buy the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme or the Extreme ISO, or if you should stay with what you have. That's totally fine. Now, hope you'll join me on Friday. It's an amazing time. We've done this event several times, and we just did a total overhaul of how we do this. We had some folks be some guinea pigs of some new stuff I wanted to try, and so I'm unveiling that on Friday. Excited to see you there. Friday afternoon, you can go to the link on the screen there. We've got a few more spots, but I do keep this small because we connect on Zoom and I do Q&A, and I can't be there all night. My wife will yell at me. So if you want to grab a seat, feel free to come. It's $20, and you leave with a bunch of templates from me for different tech setups. So instead of questioning what you need to buy, you get your questions answered. You leave with that, and you have a tech plan that you can print out or hand to an AV guy or hand to someone at B&H Photo. You get the gear you need, or you learn how to connect what you have so you can stop dreaming, start streaming your message. That's our big thing. You listen to me for any amount of time, you know that's my big thing. We're here to demystify tech so that you can stop dreaming and start streaming your message. Less than 8% of event hosts feel confident and comfortable with the tech needed to go live. As a result, many people give up. They do. They give up. Or they waste money buying equipment they don't need. Not cool. Not okay with me. I've been there. I've made that mistake. So join me Friday. Let's get your questions answered. Let's get you set up for success. Hope to see you there. You got other ideas, questions about the ATEM Mini Pro Extreme? Man, bring them to the event. Let's talk about it. Let me know your ideas. I'm excited to continue the conversation. Good to see many of you here today, and hope to see you soon. Take care.